Hey, how you doing? I'm Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books, member of ComicsGate, and this is another one of my videos on the secrets of the ComicsGate network, getting you up to speed on how Indiegogo works with ComicsGate and what some of the opportunities are and things that you need to know about. Make sure you're subscribed, click the bell for notifications so you do not miss any of these videos, and it's a big help to me in the channel. All right, today we're talking about a really special feature that Indiegogo has. You may have seen it before, you may not have. It's called InDemand, and it's very different than what Kickstarter or any of the other crowdfunding platforms offer. And it's really a huge help. What the heck is it? Well, what do you mean web store? I already did a crowdfunding campaign. Okay, it's a fair question. Indiegogo came up with a pretty cool idea. The idea is you go ahead, you run your campaign. Now, campaigns usually last for, you can set the time, anywhere from 10 days to 30 days or 60 days. But after that time window, after your campaign ends, as long as you met your funding goal, Indiegogo gives you an option for free to extend for an in-demand store. Now, you have to check your settings when you're first setting up your campaign and indicate that you do want to go in demand. Not very complicated. It's very easy to follow their instructions. Just to explain the basic premise, that is the purpose of the in-demand store. It's that when your campaign ends, you can continue to offer your products, whatever it was that you were crowdfunding. So to give you a great example, this is my book, College of the Dead. For the moment, it's still in demand. I need to close the store very soon because we're going to launch the sequel to College of the Dead called Graduation Day. Make sure you're signed up for the email list. Links in the description. And, with College of the Dead, it was my first project on Indiegogo. I've been publishing comics for a long time, but it's my first Indiegogo project. My goal was to just hit $5,000, and we hit $5,000 back in August. And then every now and then I'll still talk about the project, and we continue to sell additional copies. This is much more than I thought it was going to generate. It's much more than I planned for it to generate. It's just a small one-time cool zombie apocalypse project that now has turned into a color series on the next one, and it's going to be a much bigger project. But hey, that's a great thing with InDemand. We've almost doubled the revenue that this generated, and that helps a lot. It's great to be selling additional copies. And if I had launched this on Kickstarter, they don't have an in-demand option. They don't. Indiegogo also has a unique option where if you run a 30-day campaign and then you want to keep the campaign going, you can extend it for up to another 30 days. Kickstarter does not allow an extended deadline, right? So you get a lot of flexibility with how you can structure your campaign while it's running by being able to offer an extension to your campaign, which Kickstarter does not allow. And you also get this in-demand option. The in-demand option, it's really valuable. They let you keep the store up. You get to meet new buyers. Keep in mind, no matter how much you're doing to promote your project, life is busy. Not everybody who would have bought it is going to get a chance to see it. So, as people come across the College of the Dead page, for example, some of them buy it, as I get on a show or I'm discussing comics or doing something promotionally, or people just hear about it from a friend. They go to my website, collegeofthedead.com, redirects right to this in-demand listing. And here I have a store set up, and I didn't have time to go produce a merchandise website or whatnot. It's just very convenient for me to be able to continue to offer the book. It's no cost to me, no additional cost. Indiegogo just charges its normal, approximately 7% fee, whatever the heck it is. Very small. And then they just pay me every month for whatever money was left, and from whatever 93% of whatever was generated that month. So it's just a monthly payment at the end of each month. And it's real easy, it's real smooth, and it works well. And when people say, "Oh, I missed your campaign," I have a way to get to it. Now, of course, there are reasons to not have an in-demand campaign, and that's something you should consider. A reason to not do an in-demand campaign is to create a sense of urgency, so you can tell people, "Look, there's only 5 days left to get my book. If you don't get my book now, you'll never get my book." And some people have sold their books that way, and they've done very well. Graveyard Shift 2 is one I think about. I know when John Malin offers his really cool books, he does not seem to do any in-demand store, and that's fine. It's very successful for him. But keep in mind, of course, what works for John Malin is not necessarily, or any of the really big projects, is not necessarily going to work for the smaller projects. They're marketed a little differently. They're promoted differently. John has a much larger platform. So it tends to be really the larger platform guys that don't do an extension or don't do an in-demand store. Another successful in-demand store is Monster MD. It was a successful campaign to begin with, but Von Klaus, the writer, has kept that campaign open, and he's up to $70,000 in that campaign. Honestly, I don't recall when the campaign ended, but it wasn't at 70,000. He's added quite a bit extra. Death Swarm by Carlo Rowe, another great guy. That campaign is still up and in demand and still generating revenue. A lot of campaigns are still up and still generating revenue. Again, all of these campaigns, if they had been run through Kickstarter, when they would have ended, they would have ended. And then, although Kickstarter does give you an option with a button where you can click a button if you want to still buy it, and then it's got to redirect to another site, and then you have to have another site set up and a whole other web store set up so that you'd be able to sell that product and then deliver it. It's much more convenient to be able to go in demand when your campaign's ended. And how much money can you generate in demand? It just depends, on how much additional promotion you're doing after the campaign ends, and what other projects you have coming up that you might mention. Hey, I also have this project going. For example, after College of the Dead graduation day, coming out very soon in the end of February, I'm going to be doing GI Jackrabbits. So I'll start promoting my GI Jackrabbits project after College of the Dead starts, and then it won't launch until College of the Dead graduation day is done. But then College of the Dead graduation day will very likely be able to stay in an in-demand store for a while and create extra sales and create extra business and extra revenue while I'm working on the GI Jackrabbits campaign as well. So it's really a great advantage to be able to have an in-demand store right on Indiegogo. And keep in mind too, the in-demand stores are also still searchable. So if you search on Indiegogo zombies or whatever comics, and you're going through the listings, that web store that you've kept up, the in-demand store, is going to still be searchable through Indiegogo, and additional people, will find it. So, different months have done better than other months and things like that. But collectively, you can see, since the campaign ended, it's done almost double the revenue, and honestly, without me putting in a tremendous amount of energy trying to market it. All right, that's what I wanted you to know about in-demand stores and also the extending deadlines. You cannot extend the deadline on Kickstarter. You'll lose a lot when you use the Kickstarter platform. Indiegogo is really where it's at for indie publishing. I'm sure there's some people that are happy on Kickstarter, but really, especially if you're ComicsGate, where you really belong is focused on Indiegogo and understanding things like these advantages of in-demand, the advantages of extending your campaign deadline, the advantages of having a better discount, because they only take about 7% out of your campaign for fees rather than 10%. There's a lot of advantages. And of course, if you're part of the ComicsGate network, you're going to get a lot of help with promotion from other people in ComicsGate. And to learn more about ComicsGate, I've done a number of videos. I have independent creators that I've interviewed on ComicsGate tonight. That's a whole separate playlist. But a lot of these secrets of the ComicsGate network. So if you, in a whole separate playlist. So if you look at that, you can go to my ComicsGate playlist. You'll see there's a lot of ComicsGate videos. There's a lot of information. If you want to find ComicsGate publishers, other guys today, other indie publishers, go and just try this. Go hashtag ComicsGate in Twitter, And then just look at some of the names of people talking about their projects and their YouTube shows. And you'll see there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of action going on in ComicsGate. ComicsGate is where it's at. ComicsGate is the future of indie publishing because we really help each other. We help co-promote. We help each other with production issues and to make our books exciting. You know, we do our comics for our readers, but we also do them competitively with other creative people. We all want to do our best work and have something cool that we can show off to the other guys who are publishing too. So we're just bringing it. We're all helping each other, making these things as great as they can be. And I hope to see you involved in ComicsGate, whether you are just a reader or you're creating or one of the amazing fans that we have or guys who give us great suggestions. We'd love to be around you. I'd love to be working with you. Go ahead and leave comments below. Did you know about the InDemand store? Is there anything else you know about that maybe I missed that's relevant to this in any possible way or just interesting? You know, go ahead and tell me. I'd love to see it. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any videos and so you help me out big time. I really appreciate that. All right, I will see you soon. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.